Welcome everyone to the Transformative Powers of Pure Essential Oils. This is Paul Bauer, and I welcome you. Let's start right off with what we all want in our lives. You know, it may be an endless list, but when you really think about it, what do you really want? Think about it for a moment to yourself. A lot of people just want to just clear the problems that are in their everyday consciousness or in their everyday life. But go a little deeper than that. Most of us want clarity. We want focus. We want maybe more energy. Many of us want love. Some want abundance, confidence, inner peace. Others want to manifest with more ease and more grace. Whatever it is that you want, think about it for just a moment. What stops you? Why don't you have it? Why don't you have the thing you long for most? Or the things you long for the most? I don't bring that up to create any negative thoughts or beliefs about this, or to stir up anything negative. It's to help us become more conscious and become more aware of what's going on inside of us. And in this audio, in this video, you'll learn about some of the salient factors. In other words, some of the stuff that's just kind of like really just there underneath the surface that you can use essential oils for to help make a big difference. Now, think about how the mind and the body really works. And I mean really works. How does energy flow in your mind and in your body? Something that we learned a long time ago from a Qigong master from China. He said it this way, and you might have heard this before, but think of the profoundness of this. Thoughts are things. Whatever your attention is placed upon most expands. Wherever attention goes, energy flows. Now, if that's life-enhancing thoughts, if that's things of peacefulness or of clarity or I feel good, well, all those are being multiplied. But if you have negative thoughts, those thoughts are being multiplied. They turn into emotions in the body. They turn into energies that sometimes don't flow as easily. And then you feel kind of like, almost like stuck. In Chinese medicine, we call it stuck chi or stagnant chi. How do you know when this happens? Well, you check in with your feelings. How are you feeling? That's the most basic statement that we say in all of our courses, all our teleseminars, all our webinars. How are you feeling? That's the acid test, if you will, of what's going on in your mind and your body. If you feel good, that means your chi is open, your energy, your mana, the Hawaiians use that word, and prana and shakti, all the different words from all the faiths and all the traditions across the world. All it really means is the energy is open. But if it's stuck in any way, if it's stagnant, you know it because you feel either tired, you've got pain in your body, you feel like, even though you wanted to move forward with something in life, that it just wasn't moving. And then it gets us kind of like either taking a step back or we push harder and push forward, but then that creates more resistance, doesn't it? If you keep on pushing against a insurmountable object or feeling or lack of momentum or inertia, what happens? If you keep pushing, quite often you burn yourself out or you create more stress in the body. Our higher self and our subconscious are often teaching us to let go and take a step back and notice. Listen to what the body is saying. Now, that's not the first thing that we think of as human beings. We don't have our owner's manual to say, whenever there's a stressful thought, feeling, or emotion, step back. If that was there in our earlier years and that became a real basic mandate or motif that you worked up from, you wouldn't have stress in your life to speak of. You may feel stressed temporarily, but you could step back and experience the lack of stress because of your lack of need to change things. Something I read once in a wonderful book on Chinese medicine was the only reason we feel stress in our minds or our bodies is because we want life to be different than the way it is. Think about that for just a moment. The only real reason that you ever feel stressed in your life is because you want life to be different than the way that it's showing up for you. But you know what life is really about? Life is about adapting to what shows up. That's what life's about. That's when you can really learn. That's when you're sensing the unknown that's outside of the island of the known, if you've heard me use that phrase before. I borrowed that phrase from another author. And so when you swim out into that ocean of the unknown, stuff happens. You know, the subconscious starts firing off negative beliefs and it starts saying, oh, what am I going to do about this? Well, the real key is to start getting more present So you can swim anywhere. You can go back to the island to rest, but you can go back out to the ocean and feel comfortable knowing that even in the land of the unknown or the ocean of the unknown, that you are perfectly safe. You need no life preservers because you can swim with grace and with ease, and that you're always there, protected. Some angelic force, some higher divine being or set of beings is always there at your side, like they say in the Course of Miracles. Always there by your side. But if for whatever chance that you have slips of your magnificence, as we call them, and you happen to have a negative belief, and that creates a negative emotion, and all of a sudden you're feeling kind of stuck, that's okay. You step back. So let's talk about now why we're even having this audio and this video to help share the essence of the beauty of essential oils. What I call the new paradigm of personal growth and healing. And I'm not talking about normal essential oils. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. The real key is that essential oils are the simplest solution that I personally have ever found to give you or me or anyone that we've ever conceived of as human beings the kind of freedom that you're longing for on the inside, and yet you didn't know that something so simple as something that comes from plants, trees, flowers, shrubs produces an essential oil that it could actually free your mind, free your body, free your emotions in such a way that you're back on your game. Yes, they're highly practical. They're incredibly spiritual as well. So I'm talking about pure essential oils. So what are essential oils? In essence, essential oils are the lifeblood of the plant and of the trees, the shrubs, and of the flowers. Essential oils transport nutrients and immune factors throughout plants and all these other earth-bound gifts from the divine to keep them strong and vibrant. Whenever there's an insect that lands on a plant or a tree or a shrub, something very interesting happens. Quite often the insect can't get through the immune factors, in other words, the protection that plant has created for itself. It's the immune factors of the essential oils that creates that protection. Think about that. That's why our plants stay strong and vibrant. But if they've been fed things that in today's market, let's say pesticides of all different kinds, it dumbs down the nature of the plant, and then there goes part of its immune factors. And of course, then you wouldn't want to take that kind of food into your body because you're taking in the DNA of the pesticides. One of the greatest things that I've ever learned was about 3,000 years ago, and even longer, this is just recorded history now, the ancients and civilizations such as the Egyptians used essential oils for what's called the cleansing of the body and the spirit and the blood. Now think about that. A civilization that old and that advanced was using essential oils that long ago. They might not have had the same technology we have today to distill the oils, but they knew something. They really knew something about the essence of these plants and what the oils could produce for the cleansing of the mind and the body and the spirit. Other great factors of essential oils, the three wise men brought gifts of frankincense and myrrh, two of the most powerful essential oils to the Christ child. Essential oils have been proven to increase oxygen to your mind and to your body, which means more peace, which means more energy in your mind and your body. They help open up your energy field so you feel calm, relaxed, and rejuvenated. They help strengthen and purify your connection to God and the divine, so you feel more peace again on the inside. And essential oils hold a vibration far higher than ordinary human consciousness. Because of this, essential oils are one of the very few substances on our planet that we have easy access to that raise our vibration. That's a real key. And our spiritual energy. So what does that really mean? Well, let's go back to that statement. Essential oils, they hold a vibration that's far higher than ordinary human consciousness. Well, I draw this little image sometimes when we do this live with people. So here's the image. In your mind's eye, think of this. Picture something as vibrant as the sun. And that high vibration, you know it. You can feel it. Whenever your body senses that, like on your skin, you feel that sun on your skin. You can feel its intensity. You can feel its warmth. All right? Now, does the sun change? No. Clouds may come by, but the sun itself doesn't change. The sun represents essential oils in this metaphor. Now, human beings' energy isn't that consistent. It doesn't feel that warm all the time, does it? I don't mean just physically warm. What I mean is the energetics of it. As human beings, our moods go up and down all the time. We have good thoughts some days, bad thoughts not just the next day, but moments later after you've had a good thought. Think about it for yourself. Let's say you wake up in the morning, you feel pretty good. You have a nice breakfast, you have some nice herbal tea or coffee or whatever you drink in the morning, you have some nice filtered water, and you're feeling pretty good. The first phone call or the first negative email or the first negative piece of information that you hear or someone shares with you, you see something on the news about what's going on in the political system, the banking system, your stocks, whatever, and all of a sudden your energy drops. Just 10 minutes later, what really happened? Something shifted there. And the point of this story is that our vibrations change that fast. Things like essential oils do not. They hold their energy in their vibration. That's why they are so able to be trusted for us as talismans or energy holders. Like having a coach at your side who is so impeccable that they would never ever let you down. That they see only the best in you. They see the namaste in you. They see the most pure part of you, all the way up to the soul, the God self energy, the purest of pure inside of you. That's the vibration of pure essential oils. If you've ever heard this statement, be careful who you hang around with, because you become that energy of the 5 or 6 people that you hang around most. If you've ever heard that phrase, that's like an old quote by like a Napoleon Hill or a W. Clement Stone. Think about it in terms of the kind of foods you eat, the type of liquids that you take in, and also if you've tried essential oils before but you didn't feel all that great, where did you get them from? Now, my point isn't to tell you what oils to get right now. We'll talk about that later. But the point is that you either feel the vibration or you don't. That's the real key. You start trusting your intuition. Every one of us has the intuition. Whether you think you trust it or not, you still have it. And there's still instances where you do trust it. The beauty of is when pure essential oils come into your midst, something strengthens your body and your mind and your energy field. Let's say even if you didn't even know that there was an essential oil there except for the smell of it. But here's something very cool. We talk about this in our courses. There are stories of people who did not even open up a bottle of essential oil, and yet they could feel its vibration before they even touched it. In some cases, it takes the person to actually touch the bottle itself, and yet still the bottle remains closed, and they can still feel its vibration. Some people have had amazing shifts of consciousness, clearing of old memories, clearing of karmic stuff, clearing of issues that have held them back for years or decades, without even using the oil directly on their skin or smelling it aromatically, or using it in any other ways. So what really happened there? It's vibration. Vibration can move through things like glass and move through what you would call dense matter. Your skin is dense matter. Think of how things can move through that. You put a lotion on your skin, it moves through there, Let's say you put some arnica lotion, or some kind of lotion on your skin to help the skin feel better, or maybe the muscle. If you put some magnesium lotion on your skin, for example, and all of a sudden the pain's gone. Well, the dense matter of your skin still let that through. Well, it just so happens that the vibration of essential oils, when they're pure, can move through things like glass because of that vibration. So, that's a little bit about what essential oils are. How can they help you? So let's go into some detail here. They can help you clear things, like what we talked about a little bit earlier, in terms of any negative emotions. If you ever feel other than peace, joy, love, or abundance, you can turn to a pure essential oil, and you can either hold it in your hands, like, in a prayer position, over your heart, and start feeling it, even before you open up the bottle. I've done this with many, many clients, in person, over the phone, and people have made amazing shifts, let alone their intuition opening up and feeling the love and the intent and the vibration of that pure essential oil as it exists within the container, before they ever opened it up. And people are blown away just by that little exercise. So they can help you do clearings of in ways that would astound you. How long would it take? 5-10 minutes at the most. That would be a long period of time for most people. Stuff, in other words, that, and we've been doing emotional clearing, karmic clearing, all sorts of belief clearing work for the last 20 years. There's nothing that I or Susan, my partner, has ever used that has made such a profound shift and so quickly as when essential oils when they're pure. And the beauty of it is that you don't have to have like a magna cum laude education and take work with the oils for, let's say, a year or two until you finally get that. It took me that long, and the only reason was because I didn't have a teacher teaching me what the kind of stuff that I'm sharing with you right now. So it's part of my mission is to share these high vibrational properties of these oils, what I call the chi of the oils, with as many people as see fit in their own lives. The beauty of the oils is they help you do all sorts of clearings, but they also help boost your energy and your clarity. So let's say that your energy drops one day, or let's say your mind just isn't as clear. You're not feeling on your game. What I do often is I'll use a particular essential oil, let's say like peppermint, for example. Now, if you use just an ordinary peppermint, you won't feel the same thing as what I'm talking about here, because I used other brands of peppermint from the stores, the normal retail stuff. I'd never felt the kind that I feel with the kind of oils that we're talking about. So this is about 3 years ago, and my mind said, okay, my intuition said something like, okay, let's use peppermint now. And I was about to open up the bottle, and it said, okay, take a minute here, stop, take a deep breath, and set your intent. And in that few moments, suddenly I felt a connection to the oil. That's not something that you get by buying a retail oil. There's no owner's manual with any of these oils. And that's not the vibration that any retail oil will ever have. And I'll go into that more later. So I felt this connection, and it told me what to do. I actually heard it like almost speak to me. So I stepped back and I said, okay, wow. I did it. And I felt such a deep feeling of peace and connection that it astounded me, and I just sat there in peace for about 15, 20 minutes. And that day was a seminal moment for me because every person I've ever shared the oils with since has felt something similar to that. They've developed their own connection with the oils, because that's what I'm here to share with you, is that you develop your own as well. Not you develop your connection to my connection, because you want your own unique one. But go to the place where these connections exist from. In other words, where the essence of the plant kingdom, where pure creation exists. That comes through the oils when they're pure, okay? And then you will feel that connection, that utter, sheer level of peace. Something else that pure essential oils help you do is they helps you clear unresolved or stuck emotions and negative beliefs. And I'll share with you, as in the coming days, there are exercises that you can use to help you not just identify the memory or identify the belief, because really that is only one step in the direction of clearing it, but get right to the roots of what created the belief. Get right to the roots of what created the energy imbalance, so you're free from that point forward. If it ever comes back, it comes back in a different way, and you may be able to tune into the lesson that the emotion, the belief, the feeling, or whatever negative issue in your life comes back trying to teach you. So you stop judging it, consciously or unconsciously. When bad stuff happens, it happens for a reason. When you start mastering your own inner self, you start seeing the blessing in even negative things coming towards you or from within you. And you start noticing the real truth about what's going on within you and outside of you. Things that were once negative now become lessons and opportunities for growth. Things that were once things that would stop you dead in your tracks, emotionally or otherwise, now begin to give you a little bit of a smile, and you say to yourself, oh, isn't this amazing? That used to stop me. And now I feel okay. Oh my. That happens to me all the time now. When something negative is occurring in my life or in the life of someone I care for, or whatever it might be. It could be finances. It could be the stock market. It could be a neighbor. I'm automatically drawn back to the core within myself. If you've taken our courses before, it's the heart wave. It's the essence within your own heart. And you get back and you identify and you feel that, and you feel a sense of inner peace that's beyond what most people either ever feel or very seldom feel. So let's talk about a property that pure essential oils can do, that they all contain. And I won't get into too much science here. I'm going to give you an acronym called PSM, and how that little acronym could help you in such ways that would astound you when you actually have the experience of it. PSM, in essence, stands for Purify, Stop, and Mend. And we're going to set that off to the side for just a moment. I'll explain what that means in context. What it really means and refers to is the emotional brain. What is the emotional brain? You might have heard me discuss it in previous videos or audios. The emotional brain, in essence, is the amygdala. And what it's designed to do is help you process issues that are beyond what the mind can handle. Once the mind becomes overwhelmed, the emotional brain starts taking it over and says, okay, what do we do with this? If it cannot deal with it, it takes it and it stores it in what's called your cellular memory. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go. The good thing about that is you won't have to deal with the problem, at least not its intensity. But the problem or the negative part of that would be that if you've had a trauma of any kind or a stressor that was overwhelming to you and it takes it over for you so you don't have to deal with it any longer or its intensity, then it gets stuffed away in your cellular memory. And the problem with that is that A, you don't know it's there, or B, you don't know how to relieve it or release it. That's the reason why you thought you cleared something, or that you thought that you had a good night's sleep, or you thought that something should be different the next time around, but it's not different because the same old memory comes up, and through your cellular memory, if you can picture it like, it's a group of advisors, and some of them have good memories attached, but some of the ones that are advising you, they got negative memories, and they're carrying negative energy to them because they took it over, it meaning the old trauma, the old negative experience, and it's still holding it there, waiting for the perfect time for it to be released. Now that's where essential oils come in, because this is so cool. Essential oils are the only thing that can affect the amygdala, that can actually have access to it because of what's called the blood-brain barrier. That barrier there exists so that things cannot enter the brain for obvious reasons, that you don't want toxins or certain compounds to enter the brain. Otherwise, you're going to have a major traffic jam in how your mind operates. But essential oils, because they are in such small molecular size and detail, they pass through the blood-brain barrier into the amygdala, and they then speak to the cells in your body at the same level that your DNA exists. In other words, the DNA pure essential oils help clear the receptor sites on your cells that have become clogged with DNA. Negative energy. They begin to have like little handshakes. Could be some of them opiates. They're actually like, it could be any number of they're hugging each other that have gathered on the outside layer of the cells. It's so good to see you again. It's called cell respiration. In scientific terms, the equal transfer of energy inside and outside of the cells. When you have equal transfer, it's just like when you feel and are able to receive love. When you can give it and you can receive it. When you can pay your bills and then you can also be okay to receive money in exchange for the goods and services that you sell, the work that you do. That's a good metaphor. So the beauty of this PSM process and how the emotional brain works is, in relation to essential oils, is that they help purify the very origin of where the problems exist, so you're not working just at the Band-Aid level. And there's a lot of great tools that you and I have tried before and have worked. And some of them work long-term, some of them work maybe not quite so long-term. But ask yourself, at the end of a day, so why is it that I'm still stressed? Or why is it that I'm not feeling quite my best? That's not the best way to ask questions. But inevitably, we'll still ask ourselves when we're not feeling our best, what's going on inside of me? Why is this still happening? Why is this challenge still presenting itself? One of two reasons. One, your higher self and subconscious are trying to get your attention. Or B, that part of number one is that through that getting attention process, that it wants to be released. It's ready to be released. The old memory, the old trauma. If you don't like calling them traumas, call them old situations. Call them old stories that happened in your life. But you can be sure that that cellular memory is holding on to more things than you could possibly imagine. Luckily, the amount of positive experiences in our lives overwhelm the negative experiences by a factor of 10 to 1, at least that high. But it's those small little things that can absolutely stop you in your tracks when you least expect it, when you want to move forward with something that means something to you. That's when you really know something is there, is when something has great meaning to you and something stops you and you don't know what it is. And you say to yourself, what is happening inside of me? When you've got pure essential oils right there with you and you know how to use them, then those issues of stuckness will be a thing of the past. Why are essential oils so important for our health and our well-being? Well, first of all, they're powerful tools for consciousness and growth, our own inner consciousness and growth. They help you clear unresolved emotional blocks, like we've just discussed. They help you strengthen your spiritual connection. They help you with things like calming the mind and deep meditation. If you don't meditate, they'll help you meditate better than you ever imagined. If you are a meditator, they'll take you into deeper states than maybe you've ever experienced before, or give you new ways of meditating, give you new access to higher levels of consciousness than you ever dreamed of. There's something also kind of inspiring if you're a mother or a parent in a home where you want to have a cleaner condition or better way of living. Many of us are aware of the fact that a lot of toxins are in our regular lives now. And if you look under your kitchen cabinet, if you look into your bathroom underneath your cabinet in there, or in your garage, wherever you stack up things, look at what's stacked up in those areas. Or look at the labels on those products. And we have these in our homes. And what I'm talking about is toxins. Whatever we apply to the floor, whether we're putting it on our dishes or whether we're putting them, on our walls or cleaning our cars with, or God forbid, putting it into our bodies or our kids' bodies without knowing what really these things are, where they come from, how they're made, have they been genetically engineered, etc. So the beauty of essential oils when they're pure is they match the frequency and the vibration of your mind and your body the way it's supposed to be. You can use them for your home. We use them every day in our lives, in mine and Susan's. We use a diffuser virtually every day. I put oils on my body all day. When I get up in the morning, when I'm working and stuff in the afternoons, whenever I get stuck, whenever I need more inspiration, and I know that they're pure and they're safe. I even take them internally. And you can't say that about most retail oils, and we'll talk more about that. Let's talk about a couple oils. Let's give you some examples of some essential oils and how you would use them. So let's talk about essentially two of the most popular oils that are in existence, frankincense and lavender, and how you can have more optimal health and abundance just using those two oils, for example. They're just one of many that you could have access to. Frankincense, as we mentioned before, was a gift to the Christ child. So why is that? Why is it the wise men, who were very opulent, by the way, they had access to quite a bit of wealth back then through the kings, how is it that any gift could have been given to the Christ child, and yet frankincense and myrrh were chosen? The high vibration, perhaps? The wealth of it? Not just the wealth of it, because again, you're talking about a child. So what is the meaning of giving something like frankincense and myrrh to a child? They must have known something. They must have known of its vibration. They must have known of its qualities. So the list is probably pages long of the benefits of just frankincense alone. You can use it to help calm your mind. It's a wonderful tool to use during your meditations. But I also use it personally, not just at the physical level, but to help me get clearings, and to help me open up to, if you understand the word downloads, like divine downloads, like thoughts that you've never thought of before, breakthroughs in your career, openings in your consciousness in ways that the normal, ordinary brain just doesn't come up with by itself. You don't want to think the same thoughts as yesterday, because those might have been some stressful thoughts. They're not original any longer, either way. Something like frankincense opens your mind. It doesn't just open up your body. You could certainly apply it to your skin. There's all these great physical qualities, but please remember this. If you use essential oils only for physical purposes, you are scratching only 20% of their incredible depth of qualities and experience. Think of it as 20% above the top of the water, and the 80% is what is beneath the water. The 80% is what I teach and what Susan teaches about the oils. That's our kuleana. It's a word in Hawaiian that it's your right livelihood. It's what you're supposed to do here. It's your passion. You can hear the passion in my voice. You can hear how vibrant I am about essential oils. And we haven't even begun to scratch the surface in such a short little audio and video. So, in essence, frankincense is they call it the king of the oils. Well, let's talk about the queen of the oils, lavender. When you find the right kind of lavender, and you're able to use it, if you just put it, let's say, in your temple, and you breathe it in, and you do that kind of breathing, okay? Not just like, that's a short breath. That's a real, like a shallow breath, they call that. but a real deep breath. And you really take in the essence of it. These are millions of molecules that pass through the atmosphere between your hand and your nose and your amygdala and then into the rest of your body. If you could see the cellular and the shifts of not just the tissues in your body, but of the acupressure meridians and of the energy meridians in your body, once you take just one or two whiffs of a pure, that's the key word, pure essential oil, you'd be amazed. You'd have a whole kit of oils in front of you if you could see the physical shift in your mind and your body. The essence here is that frankincense and lavender are two of the most popular oils for an obvious reason, and that's because people have a sense about it. The problem is that most of us don't have access to high-quality frankincense or lavender. I didn't until about 4 years ago. I had no clue. Once I was initiated into the art of the oils, then I started getting a feeling, but it still took me a while because I had no trainings. I had no one that introduced me other than one person, one man, the qualities of the oils, and even that meeting was too brief to give me the kind of like insights that I gathered over time. It wasn't from books. It was direct experience with these kinds of pure oils. So let's talk about that now. Why purity of the oils makes all the difference. The oils that are available through retail locations, and I'm not arguing that the source themselves is the problem. In other words, the stores are wonderful. They sell great vitamins, they sell great health foods, etc. But unfortunately, those oils come from the same place where most of the perfume industry originated, and that is that they are synthesized. They are altered chemically so that the yields increase so they can get more oil to sell. They're not meant to be therapeutic. They're not meant to be spiritual. They're not meant to be higher vibrational or life enhancing. That's not their purpose. If you ever want to check, look on the back of the bottles, and it will say things like, not suitable for internal consumption. Do not take internally. Now, what does that tell you if you read something like that? You think, well, maybe it's too powerful. Well, that's not the truth. The truth is that there's things in those oils that aren't safe for you. You can use them on your skin, but then think about it. Your skin is an organ. It's the largest organ in your body. It's bigger than the liver. And the liver is the biggest filter in the body except for the skin. So when you're putting on these oils that come from stores, you're taking in those synthesizing agents and you don't know what they're going to do. We've heard many stories of people that said, oh, I tried lavender and I had a rash. Oh, I tried that frankincense and I got a rash. Or I had a skin breakout or something like that. Those people purchased their retail oil and they're having negative reactions to the additives, the synthesized agents in those oils. So that's not the kind of oils that we're referring to. Purity is the key when it comes to anything in life. You want to go right to the source, whether that be a teacher, whether that be a farm, whether that be something like an essential oil, or something that is as close to the source as possible. Something, someone that you know that you can test its validity for yourself, whether that be scientifically or through word of mouth or whatever way that you can trust. So purity of the oils today makes even a bigger difference because there are some oil companies that say they're selling therapeutic oils. And I've talked with several distillers across the world who have told us, me personally, that many of these companies that have produced oils are actually doing what's called cutting the oils. They're enhancing them in ways that are not chemically traceable unless you had I think it's called a mass spectrometer or a gas chromatograph. And even then it's tough. So when you have pure oils, you have access to the vibration. That's the point of this whole discussion. The vibration of that oil that will lift you, that will free your mind, it will free your body. It will open up that limbic or the old emotional brain, and you'll have access to the amygdala, and the cells can free themselves so you don't have to re-experience the old pain, the old trauma. And even if it's a physical issue that you're experiencing, all that is stagnant chi. So what is stagnant chi? That's what occurs when the chi or the energy in our mind and our body begins to stop flowing at its normal rate. In some cases, it stops. And when it really stops, that's when you have really tense pain. That's when you got liver stagnation. That's when you've got intestinal blockages, even if it's only temporary. Like constipation is technically a short-term intestinal blockage, in the colon at least. And all these other dozens and dozens of symptoms that happen to us. Again, we're not taught with an owner's manual of any kind how to interpret these signals. So often we'll take a pill, we'll go to a doctor, they'll tell us what to do. But step back from that quick fix mentality and ask yourself and ask your body, what do I need most? And listen. You may be surprised at the answer. It may say, I need a break. It may say, let go. It may say, when you step back, I'll give you access to information that you never dreamed of before. But again, that's not our first intuition. That's not our first thought of when we're being stressed. There's an old phrase that we learned from a great old wise man that we trained with years ago. And he used this phrase many times throughout a training that we had. And the phrase was, when push comes to shove, where do you go? In other words, when stress starts hitting the wall inside of you, what happens inside of you? Where do you go? Overwhelm? Yeah. But where do you go in that overwhelm? What happens on the inside? The beauty of having pure essential oils at your disposal is that no matter where you are, you could have a little oil there at your side. Like I'm taking one out right now. And then you could just take a nice deep breath, and in a moment or two, it changes your state. It gives you purity. It gives you like emotional freedom again in the moment. You go like, oh, wow. Now maybe that doesn't take care of the whole thing, but at least it took the edge off. Now you can step back and take a nice deep breath. Apply some to your temple or the palm of your hand or some of the other salient places on the body that will teach you. And really begin to engage, in other words, to interconnect with the chi of the oils, one of my most favorite subjects. So what is the chi of the oils? In essence, there's this beautiful energetic property when oils are pure. Again, that's the key word. The oils that you'll find at your retail stores don't have the chi. They don't have a vibration to speak of. They're just smelling agents. That's really all that they're intended to do. Yeah, you could put them in a diffuser and they'll smell good. But when you want to do something in life in terms of a shift in consciousness, you want to have some growth. You want to have some abundance shifts so that the abundance flows back into your life again. If you want to have a healing at any level, mind, body, karmic field, energetic field, your chi field, whatever it might be, you've got to use pure essential oils because otherwise you're wasting your money. And that's a terrible thing to do for any one of us in the sense of why waste our money on something that it didn't have the energy to begin with. The chi of essential oils is that you can feel the vibration of the oil. When you tune into it, instantly there's something where it says yes on the inside of you. Even if you've never smelled the oil before, let's say you've never smelled juniper or vetiver or ylang ylang or whatever the oil might be. And yet, the first time you smell it, something inside you says, oh my. And you have this God experience, this pure one quantum consciousness effect. And your mind it has to take a step back because it says, this is different. This is new. I've never experienced this before. Here's another level of good news. You don't just get that experience once. I can tell you personally that I use these oils every day. And every time I use them, as long as I'm present, the experience is new yet again. The reason why is because the oil holds, when it's pure, a far higher state of energy than my mind can comprehend. And my mind, therefore, has access to where the oils exist at, that level of consciousness. Think of that. How often can you find something that has that kind of energy to it? What do you know of that you could have access to that could give you that kind of connection consistently? I know of nothing else. I used to think it was crystals. Crystals didn't give me the same effect. They're not as organic. They don't have that same ability to shift things like in a second or in moments. I don't care what the emotion is. I care about you, but it's not the emotion that's the key. It's the stuck chi that's the key. So when you're in the presence of pure essential oils, they have this amazing ability to shift your chi, to open it up, to get it moving again and flowing in ways that you haven't maybe felt in either days, months, or years. So emotions are the cause of over 85% of all physical issues. That's why I don't even talk about the physical properties of the oils because it's only scratching the surface. Why even work at that level? Because that's not what caused the problem. If you have skin issues, your skin didn't cause the issue. If you have heart issues, your heart did not cause your heart problem. If you have liver challenges or diabetes or anything that's going on in your body, including energy swings up and down, it's not your energy that caused the problem. It's the mind allowing itself to judge life to be different, to want it to be different than the way that it's presenting itself. And we start judging not just life itself, but ourselves. And stagnant chi is the result. And the more that chi stagnates, life begins to slow down, and it's lack of flow, and it's a state of what they call dis-ease. So, in essence, as we close here, if you want something that helps you find your way in a way that would bring a smile to your face, in other words, your own personal journey, a way that helps you feel clarity and focus and inner peace, and ways that would last, pure essential oils are the gift. They've been here for centuries and will be here for many, many centuries beyond our existence because they're connected to the earth. And that's what we long for on the inside. So stay tuned, and we will present more information on the power of pure essential oils and their ability to transform your energy, your life, your abundance, and all parts of you. From my heart, aloha to you, Paul Bauer.